367, Angel Orsini. Ow! ACW Original Angel Orsini hanging out with me here on the podcast. Welcome today. How are you feeling?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
You look well. You look rested and relaxed.
Thanks. Yeah, I feel good. I was just on a little vacation. It was great. I got to see my sister and go to Florida. Love Florida. Love the Sunshine State.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I just spent Halloween down there. Loved it
Oh,
down there.
really?
Yes,
Where in Florida?
we were we were in Orlando. We were in the parks. We stayed at a place on the resort, and we went to Magic Kingdom. We went to Epcot, and we went to Universal for Halloween Horror Nights. It was awesome.
I bet it was awesome. That sounds like so much
They,
fun.
they had this
I
really
love the
cool.
parks.
They had this really cool Bray Wyatt thing, like it's the Wyatt Six. It was like a haunted house, haunted attraction thing where like you walk through and it's like all the characters from the Firefly Funhouse, and like the Wyatt Six, the buzzard, and then there was like the fiend and the big rabbit and a bunch of really cool things that like were very cool to me as like being somebody who's like familiar with the product. I think a lot of people went through it and they were like standing in the line to get to it. They had Bray Wyatt promo playing on the screen in the thing, and people were turning back and forth to each other like, "They have wrestling here? Yeah, they have wrestling going on in here." like it was
Yeah,
like people. It says
absolutely.
WWE
I
as you're
mean,
walking in, but people just blew that off.
okay.
They're
Um,
like, "Oh, you're just here
y-
to be scared. We don't care."
they've always had wrestling at Universal Studios ever since Eddie Mansfield, I think. Forget what the
Hmm.
name of that company was. I think Florida Championship Wrestling was using the Universal Studios to record TV
Yeah,
there.
and
As far
Nate,
as I
Nate,
know, there's always been wrestling in and around that area being filmed. As a matter of fact, they were filming TNA wrestling at the Full
right?
Sail University in Winter Park. So they had their pay per view there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's there's always wrestling there.
Did you hit up any shows while you were down there? Did you do any matches or anything?
I didn't do any matches, but I did go visit my friends at TNA. I
Nice.
brought my sister and my niece. My niece really wanted to do that, so pull a little string, make her happy, get to spend time with the family, and share wrestling with them. I think it's awesome that they're into it. It's
It's
cool.
very cool. Like it's very cool to find people who are you're close with that you never knew that they were into it, and then all of a sudden they're into it, and you're like, "Oh, we're the same kind of dork. All right, let's be it."
I don't think wrestling fans are dorks. I think
Yeah.
wrestling fans are the greatest people on the face of the planet.
Oh, you sound like somebody who has to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, none of those people that think wrestling fans are dorks better say it to me. Huh?
Well, I just said it.
You're too far away for me to come get
you're,
you.
you're owed a few slaps, a paintbrush. Yeah. But yeah, wrestling being honestly like I've grown up a wrestling fan my whole life. I've been a wrestling fan, and you're surrounded by non wrestling fans all the time. That's all you get. That's the only interactions you ever have. And when you talk about wrestling things, or you like think think about wrestling things, and you like then go, oh, I just had this thought and I want to talk about it, and you talk about it, people like listen and go, why would you think I would care about that? Like those kind of things. And it's kind of like you're a specific type of like geek. You're like this specific kind of nerd for this thing. Not to say that you're just automatically all around encompassedly a nerd, but you just have a real dork quality to you. I think anybody has a dork quality to them when they're into anything at all. Like I have this new thought that I keep on saying that team spirit is so obnoxious. Like when people get like rah rah into liking one thing so much that they like talk, or like if they work at a job and they're like, oh, this is our job, welcome to this, and then it's like, stop, you're replaceable. Like, it's just the like at school or something when they do like the pep rallies and everybody goes nuts for it. It's like, why do you care about school so much? Stop.
Well, I mean, I think of it this way. If you're going to be there, you might as well as make it seem like it's the best place because you're there.
I guess I didn't look at it that way. So thanks for showing me that. If, making the best out of it, you could sit there and go, "Oh, this sucks," like me, and and be a stick in the mud. But at the same time, I was rah rah team spirit for everything else outside of school. Like I was like about living my life and having my friends who weren't in the school, and I was all about my things. So I guess there's a lid for every jar.
That's a good way to put it, for sure. There definitely is a lid for every jar. Um, you hope, so long as you don't lose it.
Well, yeah, then you have a lidless jar. You just
You
have this
know, you
extra
can always
jar.
use those to serve beverages then.
Oh yeah, you can drink out of jars. They don't have to have a lid.
That's like a gimmick for some restaurants. I think they serve things in mason
Oh
jars, right?
mason jar. That's the there's a guy on the Indies named Mason Jar. He goes around. He goes around drinking moonshine.
Why?
I'm totally making it up. I'm making it up right now. It's not a real guy, but you
Okay.
could imagine it being a real thing.
I I don't know. What would the gimmick be? Come
They
out
have
and give
they have
everybody a mason
moonshine.
jar
They
out
have
of his sack
moonshine.
of mason jars or
They
box
got
of
they got
like, are
jam.
we
They got
using them
other
as
things.
weapons? That could be
Right.
dangerous.
Well, they take the things out of the jars and they use what's in the jar as a weapon, like carrots. You throw carrots at somebody, throw lettuce at somebody, things that you would hold in a jar.
Okay.
It's
We
a far
better
stretch.
have we better not have any carpeting around. We're definitely going to have to hire people to clean off the mats after.
Jelly and jam. You throw some preserves at somebody, you would jar those up.
I don't know. That seems like a whole lot of effort.
It's
I
a
think
mess.
I'm more of a
All for one
tables,
little
ladders, chairs kind of girl. Sorry.
tables, ladders, and jars match. No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I might have to skip that part.
So tell me about your podcast. I was kind of looking it up a little bit, but I did not like dive too deep into it because I wanted us to be able to have kind of an organic conversation about it. So if you can tell me about it, uh, however you like, you normally sum it up to talk about it with somebody who's never heard about it.
So, I have a podcast that I don't do regularly. It's kind of like every once in a while. It's Queen Verse tonight, and it's related to my TV channel, Ikuza TV. People can go check that out at ikuzatv.com. It's a app that I developed, um, and I've I've grown it. Now it's got a lot of wrestling podcasts, and we're building out wrestling actual promotions and indie filmmakers, indie films, um, about all different genres. So horror is getting a big push right now on Ikuza TV. And I've been busy working on that, so that's why I haven't really updated Queenverse tonight. But I do have my interview with Shelly Martinez, who's a good friend of mine, and that's going to pop out pretty soon. I would say probably in the next like 2 weeks.
Are you also doing like a wellness and fitness type of show on that app?
Yes, it's in the can. It's we shot a lot of stuff with one idea in mind for health and wellness. It's called Elevated Living with my best friend, Joy Nash. And then with AI being so helpful in the content area, we came up with another way to kind of add to it to make it more educational, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, because it's really important to share the message and share good information, especially for women. And I think Joy and I are really good spokeswomen for longevity and good health and wellness, being that, you know, we look the way that we do and we move the way we move. We still, I'm
Mm-hmm.
still wrestling, still got it, baby. So I would like to share my secrets, wisdom, um, and just educate people on what they should focus on if they want to have the same type of longevity in their life. And it's not just about how you look, but it's about how you feel. And mental health is a real is a connection there.
Mm-hmm.
And that I see we really need to share the information with people about.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a lot of people who use drugs and alcohol because they're self-medicating with their mental illness. And I see a lot of it in wrestling, pro wrestling. I've lost a lot of lovely brothers and sisters due to drug abuse, alcohol abuse, and I hate that because I miss my friends, and
Yeah.
I'm so sorry for them that they couldn't overcome and lost that struggle at a certain point. And I think in the world that it's also, you know, becoming a serious problem. We're not effectively managing the problem and giving people support. We don't, in society, the way that we look to people with mental health illness and disabilities, it's not like we just don't have the compassion and empathy that we do for somebody who's fighting cancer or has diabetes or somebody who's lost a limb.
Mm-hmm.
When we see people and those struggles, we have so much more empathy and we create so much more space for them to recover, to have a great a life and overcome it. But I think with mental illness, it's very difficult because we don't correlate illness and mental illness with the same kind of recognition that we do with people with physical disabilities. I think we
There's a
treat
there was a
people, go ahead.
sorry. There's a stand-up comedian named Mitch Hedberg, and he did this bit. I mean, Mitch Hedberg died of a heroin overdose. He was a genius comedian, one of my favorite comedians, definitely like my top comedian of all time, favorite comedian ever. Uh, he had this joke where he said alcoholism is a disease, but it's the only one you can get yelled at for having. It's like Damn it, Otto, you are an alcoholic. Damn it, Otto, you have lupus. One of them don't sound right. So,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
mm,
And we
yeah,
hold people to a standard of reason,
right, because there's
and
like a shame
logic.
level. There's a shame level to this is a choice that you're making that you can't
Right.
unmake. Like you're like as if that the choice is a choice every single time, and it's really about like avoiding a sickness. It's it becomes less like a oh, this is fun and more into like this is something I've got to do to maintain being on a regular plane.
Yeah, I just think that we need to expand the level of grace that we give people. We have to enforce our boundaries, and it is a challenge, but you have to also understand at a certain point, you're not going to rationalize and share logic with someone who's mentally incapacitated. If they're intoxicated, if they're using and they're an addict,
They're ill-equipped.
they're you have to develop a strategy. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's what I'm trying to articulate.
Mm-hmm.
We need to develop a better strategy in our society where we don't excuse bad behavior, but at the same time, yelling at somebody is not effective. And I have to remind myself that too. I have
Oh yeah.
family members, I have friends that have mental illness, and it is very challenging. And sometimes, I just don't have the patience for it at that moment, and I snap and I react.
I think
But I
there's a
don't ostracize them from the family or from society.
yeah, there's a level of like having grace with yourself and in enough ways to go like I can admit that I'm wrong on this and that. Like I had to go back just recently, like as recent as yesterday, and say some stuff to some people. You go like, hey, I realize like looking back on my actions and my words that I said and things that I did back then. Uh, I mean, I may be frequently right about things, but I'm not always right. And me saying that part made me go, "Wow, I am arrogant. I'm pretty. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm learning how to evolve through that. I'm learning how to go like, all right, well, there's going to be times where I'm wrong, but I mean, uh, even wrong to say that out loud, to say like, I'm frequently right, even though I'm frequently right, I'm sometimes wrong.
I mean, so emotional intelligence. I think that's what I'm really trying to
Mhm.
kind of educate people a little bit about. Um, Listen, as much intelligence as you have, there's going to be a point where you're going to snap. Okay, it's
Mhm.
everybody's a work in progress, but overall and in general, we have to be self-aware, and therefore, in order to be self-aware, how we come off and how we speak to others and how we share and work with each other, we need to always respect each other and treat each other with respect and dignity. And that's a part of being empathetic, always putting yourself in the other person's shoes. So maybe when you're going to talk to somebody about something that's maybe a difficult subject, or first think about, if someone was going to talk to you about this, how would you like them to speak to you? And just start there.
Mhm.
Right. I live in Jersey. I work in New York. There's a lot of, "Ugh," it's like the reaction is, "Ugh," everybody yells at each other first.
Mhm.
Probably Philly too,
Yeah.
And so all I'm trying to advocate for is maybe a little less of that reaction. Somebody might cut you off not because they're a jerk and being selfish. They might have an emergency. They might have somebody at home that they're rushing to get to, and or maybe they're just having a bad day. I
Uh, the it's easy to dehumanize a car, but realize there's a person in that car who's having a day that you're not having. Like that's the way I think it's kind of a good thing that my horn is like you got to push this little button. I got to find the button if I want to push it. It's probably good that it's like that. I maybe honk my horn like 4 times since I've had my truck. It's not a thing I do because like I'm not a road rage person. Like when other people road rage or freak out, I'm like, hey man, like I've made mistakes too. I get it. Like at least we're safe, we're good, we're fun. Let's go. Let's get to our destinations.
I mean, yeah, let's all safely get to our destination, and
Right.
then uh, that's making the world a better place for everybody. Then, right? Um, I think it's funny. What happens a lot is like at the traffic light, the light turns green, the person in front of you isn't going, you honk your horn, and then they flip you the Jersey bird, you know?
Well,
And
I
I'm just
mean,
like,
there is
yo,
a little,
you're the one not going. Why are you mad at me,
there's
bro? Like,
levels of
just
there's levels of
green light
how
means go.
there's a let's say there's a grace period. And like, okay, if the light turned green a second ago and they lay on their horn like that, come on, relax a little bit. like,
Right.
but like
You
if I
know, it's annoying when the person's on their phone and they're just
right, but
not going because
think about
they're
the day
too
they might be having. Maybe they have some news that they're trying to catch up on at a red light. Like maybe there's something going on with the family member, or maybe uh, who, who knows? Like cool it a little bit with laying on the horn when the light turns green, because red lights are the only chance that people get to look at their phones or communicate with whatever's going on in their life. What if like there's a big deal happening? What if there's like, oh, like I gotta respond to this email right now, or like I don't get my dream job that I wanted. It's as easy, it's as easy to wait 3 seconds as it is to lay on your horn. Uh, I mean, unless you're like in a rush and you're also running late for something. That's not to say that like because you have empathy for somebody else that the empathy for you has to go away. But like let's find a common, more evolved way of dealing with things.
Yeah, I just think, exactly. Let's be more polite, respectful to each other. Flipping me off just because I honk my horn, it's just go. I'm not trying to bug you. Like, it's okay. No one's chopping your head off because you didn't go immediately. Just go. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Everybody have a nice day.
So we've talked about in the past, you and I talked about the types of people who find themselves in the wrestling business, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit here about like some of the people who aren't aren't the top of society, not the most empathetic people, not the more apathetic people uh, find themselves in the wrestling business than empathetic people or caring people, and like people, it's kind of changed a little bit. It's a little different now. Like when I was first breaking into the business, and when you were first breaking into the business, it was a whole different world. Like it was a lot like harsher, a lot more harsh than it is today currently. But when it comes to that, and it comes to all those things to factor in, if it was like, let's say your niece came up to you and was like, "Hey, I want to get into this business, and I want you to help me get in it." Uh, would you be like? Would you automatically be like, "No, no, just stay away from it," or would you be like, "All right, let's do it, let's do it," and show her the ropes?
I mean, I think people have to be realistic when they look at whether or not they want to be in this business. So, if you want to actually be a wrestler, then you have to have some kind of physical athletic abilities because pro wrestling, it looks great on TV, But that's because the people doing it are so great and they have put in so much time. So they make it look easy, but it's very difficult to 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 do, especially to be that good. But there are other things in pro wrestling to put on a show that you can be a part of the show. So you have to really be honest with yourself and think about your talents and abilities, your strengths and your weaknesses of what is feasible for you to do and do it well. Because if you're not, this business is very cutthroat and you will, you know, there is not a lot of empathy. People are going to let you know if you're not good. And they might be unkind about it because it depends on what we're talking about. What aspect are we talking about? The audience and the internet and everybody's feedback from that, or are we talking about people inside the business? But there's a mix of all types of people in this business. Some people are going to be really great coaches and they treat it like it's a great friend group. It almost becomes like a family. But then, you will have other types of personalities and people that are looking to use you, abuse you, and then lose you. I mean, so you need to have good discernment and a good teacher or good coach.
Yeah, I think the way the business was 20, 30 years ago would be like if you can't do the simple tryout stuff, you ain't coming back. And now it's like, oh, you do the simple tryout stuff, and you're getting that stuff wrong. We're gonna keep giving you chances to try it because we're getting your money anyway. And it became like a let people into the wrestling business because they've got money and we want it
Yeah, I mean, but it
in
is a
like
business.
90s or something. Yes, it's for sure.
And so if you want me to take my time from the all the things that I could be doing before a show, if I'm working on that show, right? Do I want to sit there and watch other people and critique them? Or would I rather be focusing on me being the very, very best I can be for whatever it is I have to do on the show? So if I have to take away from my performance then I should get paid for that.
Right.
And it does take resources to do that. So I don't see anything wrong with taking people's money for that because they are providing a service.
Hmm.
Um, but I think there's also you have to have good faith when you're doing that. So you
Hmm.
have to be constructive and really be present and really give people the support and feedback that they need to get better. And
Hmm.
I think it's important for people who are trying out to know that they try out and they get a no. No doesn't mean no forever. It means just not right now. You're
Hmm.
going to have to put a little bit of time and effort into it. And if you've put some time and effort into it, then why not put a little bit more into it to
Right.
reach your goal? Because mostly any goal is going to require a process. And part of that process is going to be receiving negative feedback. And again, that comes back to emotional intelligence. You should be able to receive negative feedback from professionals in the business if they give it to you in a respectful way, not to just arbitrarily criticize you, but they're actually taking time and care to articulate to you how you can get better. You need to be able to receive that without taking it personal. Oh, they just don't like me. What is their problem with me? And now you take it and make it into drama. No,
Well,
no.
like I guess that's like what school teachers are like when kids come home and they go, I don't know, mom, the teacher just hates me. Like it'd be something similar to that. Like it's like, oh no, no, nobody's throwing hate your way. People just want you to because if I'm putting my stamp on you, if I'm saying that you're being able to say, and I'm being able to tell people that you're my student. You're trained by me and you're showing this performance that I don't really approve of. I want you to be better so that we can look good collectively.
Exactly. And if you can't take criticism in that way, then you're never going to get to the next level because you're always going to have to take criticism because every time when you get to that trial and then you do succeed and they give you a spot there, well, then you're going to work. And when you work, they're going to look at your work and they're going to help you to realize and become self aware of what you did right because they want you to replicate that, what you did correctly. But there's going to be something that you could have done better. I mean, in the beginning, when I used to watch my matches back, I struggled because I just saw everything that I could do better. And I wasn't giving myself the credit of what I was
It
doing
doesn't
right.
go away. I don't feel like that goes away. Like I still get nervous watching my matches back. I'm like, oh god, that was not my favorite. That part was not my favorite, or that even though every other thing. And this looks like a professional match to anybody else watching it. Just those little tiny intricacies will drive me nuts. And I won't
I mean,
like
yeah.
sometimes I won't even share that stuff. Like if this is a silly example that maybe only you and I will get. Maybe no one else will understand this because inside baseball. But let's say you're picking somebody up for a superplex, knowing that, and this is I watch this so much now. I this is not this is nuts. When you pick somebody up for a superplex, and then you like go up to go superplex them, if you don't drape their legs over the other ropes, then anybody who's watching it would be like, what is he going for? What is he go like? You can't superplex somebody when their legs are inside the ropes. You can't do it. So if you don't drape the legs over the ropes, it looks like you're setting something up. It's like you got to zoom it out a little bit further as far as like psychology wise. Why would this make sense for you to put them on the top rope and then just step up there without draping their legs? That the little intricacies drive me nuts.
Well, I think it's even more than that. There's so many things that I could say. I would say one of my pet peeves is people's kick out. When you're pinning somebody, I can always tell that they let the person out without the person really kicking out. I can't stand that. That drives me crazy. So, but there's so many things. This is a thing. Just because maybe you should have spun out, you should have put your foot this way, whatever it was, you can't let that define your whole match when there was just those little things. Those are like polished things. If it's a big thing, then that's just means you're not ready. You need to spend more time right there and get honed in a little bit more. And there's nothing wrong with that. What might be wrong is putting yourself on a timeline that doesn't make sense for actually how long it's taking you to learn and then absorb what you're learning and then implement what you learned. It
Uh,
that all those
Experience,
things that I just mentioned, they take time.
right?
And it also depends on how often are you going to school and practicing. And when you go to practice, are you just hanging out with your boys, chit chatting, or are you getting ring time in when you're in there?
Mm-hmm.
So all of that makes a difference.
Focus up.
You know, you just have to wrestle, put matches together, do it wrong, do it halfway until, you graduate through all those steps. And you can't take a shortcut because if you try to take a shortcut, you're going to and skip a step or skip a level, you're going to get blocked at that next level because they're going to look at you and they're going to be able to tell apart your performance from everybody else's at that level and you're just not going to be ready. and you're going to stay there until you're ready, until the people who are promoting and booking and filming think you're ready. So,
Thank you. So I want to ask this question, and I bet you've never been asked this. Uh, so you this won't count. This won't count as an answer. Um, all the times you've been interviewed, all the podcasts that you've been on, what's something that no one's ever asked you that you maybe wished you had been asked?
um, hmm, geez, I've been in wrestling for 29 years. I think I've been asked everything. I don't know. I don't think there's any stones left unturned. Um, I would, I mean, I could say one of my favorite things to talk about.
Sure.
Um, I would say my favorite things to talk about when it comes to wrestling is the people who coached me and put their time, talent, and energy into talking to me and helping me get better. Because I know that I would never have become or be right now the wrestler that I am without their feedback and input. So, Liz Chase, um, all the guys at Sunshine Wrestling Federation, Florida Championship Wrestling, because I trained with them. Um, Luna Vachon, Joni Lee Lauer, China, um, Leilani Kai, Dusty Rhodes, Tommy Dreamer, everybody in the ECW locker room, just
What
New
was your
Jack.
your ideas and your thoughts about like the Prada Jet gimmick and the whole that whole gimmick when they first introduced you in ECW?
I was so blown away that they had the vision for me for that. It was such a big honor to be able to wrestle with the guys and be involved in the tag team tournament. It was a huge honor. I'll always be grateful for the respect that they showed me by giving me that opportunity and believing in me to be able to do it, pull it off. Um, it was so much fun to do. I loved every single second of it, and I would do it again right now.
And that was 25 years ago, right? That's
Yeah.
it's hard to even believe that it was that long ago. It's so crazy to think about because that was like when ECW was in the TNN days, right? Like that was when like it was like right beyond where they weren't on Channel 48 anymore, and they were like on cable now. Like that was like they were kind of cementing their place as like number three. Like I mean, they were number three, but like this was like
Yes.
that
Yes, they
cementing.
were. It was they were always doing surprise things, things that were unexpected. It was unpredictable, and that's why people were so engaged with it because it was almost like the shock factor was always a potential to be there. You know, they would do these surprise things that nobody else was doing or thinking about doing. And that's why it was innovative, it was revolutionary, and it made a lot of people mad, which, you know, you can even use your haters in those situations to
Oh yeah.
help.
If you're not making
uh
somebody mad somewhere, you're doing something wrong.
exactly. So, and I love the idea of always pushing the envelope because quite frankly, and especially even what I do now as it's related to technology. I'm a project manager in technology. So if you're not on the very edge of the wave of innovation, or co-creating it or creating it and pushing it, then you're going to be left behind. Then you're going to be one of the people that are going to have to catch up in your marketplace. And you don't ever want to be behind your competitor. You always want to be right there with them, innovating it, creating it, being on the edge of it with them, or propelling it forward, because that's where the money's at. And then you can help shape it so that you don't end up, left out. You never want to be left out, or innovation is it's so far advanced and you're trying to catch up, and then before you know it, you don't even have a reason to exist in the marketplace anymore. Like Kodak cameras for a while, right? Those instant cameras.
Mhm.
But then people thought it was really retro, and brought them back. For a while as a company, it was like, well, what do we do?
They
you
did away
know
with film. They stopped making film. Like,
Right.
like, oh, if you're in the film business, well, whoops, figure something else out to do. Like,
Yeah, exactly. And the entertainment business as a business, as an industry, is very much like that. So, and wrestling is a part of entertainment. It can't forget that it's a business, because if it does, then, who keeps the lights on? How do we keep everybody existing? You got to be a successful business.
so I'm gonna ask you something that you might never have been asked before, but when it comes to like rabbit holes, when it comes to like a deep dive on something, like a conspiracy theory or like Mandela effects or like any weird uh, fringe thing out of the norm, is there anything that you like have caught yourself in a rabbit hole with that you like maybe know a little bit more than most on?
Um, yeah, I'm a born again Christian, Holy Spirit filled. And I've been studying the Bible since 1997. I've read it cover to cover several times, and I incorporate it into a part of my daily life: prayer, fasting, and I believe in the gifts of the Holy Spirit. I'm full gospel. So I go into the rabbit hole of the Holy Spirit in the church, teaching it, things like talking in tongues and historical facts, signs, wonders, miracles, prophecy in the Bible, and just really supernatural stuff, for being human beings. What does it mean to be a human being? I fall into those rabbit holes. I
Do
um
you
I make a
do
lot of
you think?
connections
Okay.
to faith and like quantum physics, quantum entanglement theory, spooky action. So I connect the supernatural to science, and that freaks people out a lot.
What have you connected previously?
So the whole there's if you study the hadrian collider, the
The
thing
Large
in
Hadron
CERN.
Collider. Yeah. The CERN.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
So studying how particles smash into each other, and then the stages of uh what molecules, or what energy, how energy forms into materializing in matter. There's this stuff called primordial ooze. It's like this kind of a one of the things that happens like right after atoms smash together is primordial ooze, and it actually becomes a part of everything that's created after that. And I think that's the Holy Spirit. And people are like, what? Well, it's in every single thing that is, was, and ever will be. It is in it. And people are like, it blows their mind away. I'm like, but that's what it says in the Bible. It says that the Holy Spirit hovered upon the earth while it was form and voidless and dark. And it's boom, it's right there in creation, like immediately. And it's in everything. It completely collaborates each other that this is what the Bible says and this is what science says. They're saying the same thing. They're not they're not in disagreement. They are in alignment and perfect agreement with each other.
Do
There's a
you think that
world
that
these
Large Hadron
too.
Collider at CERN could have possibly slipped us into an alternate universe or an alternate timeline?
And then people say that that's the Mandela effect, right?
Right. Yeah.
So that's very interesting.
Right. Like, how could so many of us just misremember? And like, it's just it's tough to make it make sense, you know. But uh, the primordial ooze might have something to do.
Well, God is in a let's just say the source of all creation, right? And so that's an ever present now. So there is no past, there is no future. It's all in one, just
Yeah.
unfolding for
Not a
us
linear
because,
timeline. Or,
right.
yeah.
And
Hmm.
so if that's true, then maybe you can change the past,
Yeah. Everything's stacked upon itself.
right? Some little things might miraculously change. I mean,
Hmm.
it's possible. What do
Well,
we, why is it so hard for us to contemplate that it could be possible?
oh yeah.
Time is something that's man-made.
Mhm. Right. Look, God was never creating existence and going, "Oh shoot, what time is it? I gotta eat lunch." Like, it was never going on.
Right. And there are people who believe that the that God made everything in exactly 7 days of 24
Still,
hour, well,
he's
six.
still
The
making everything. Stuff's not done being made.
you know, time, God is not bound by time and space. It's an unfolding. It's just like Einstein's said that the universe is expanding. Parts of it may be collapsing into black holes, but that doesn't mean that that's the end of it. It's making expanding out in other areas, and some people have a hard time thinking outside of just themselves in the material world. And so that's a little abstract for them to try to contemplate, but that's okay. That
Mhm.
it's difficult to contemplate. It doesn't mean that they should stop trying. You should be curious. You should seek to, because then you can grow. And then you can grow and expand like the universe.
Well, like, it, what I just thought of this, and I wanted to ask you: uh, have you ever looked into and dived into um, the whole conspiracy theory about the calendar changing and like us actually being in a different year than we believe, and like hundreds of years were just erased from history to to serve this one guy's desire to be ruling at a different time?
I mean, um, how would we know? Like,
Well, I think that makes
so,
sense, but like, why so many things that were predicted to happen never happened?
I mean, there's
Because
a
we're
lot of theories that how do we know how many times people have been on the planet and the planet has been reset by
right.
just occurrences that just didn't repeat, right? Like a big, huge meteor hitting us and affecting us in some way, or the flood, or, how many times have we been reset? There are some ruins
Sketch.
under the sea that we're discovering, and uh, caverns and things that are in rock and in mountains, and spaceships, and UFOs, UAPs. Um, we're in it together. Let's learn it together. Let's keep ourselves open. And I like to collect data. And until you can have all the data, you should leave your mind open and watch making assumptions. And you should challenge your underlying assumptions. Because again, I'm a project manager. So that's what we constantly do when we're looking for the answer to a problem or question. We should always look back at, what's our initial hypothesis here, or what are our underlying assumptions, and then test those and experiment and see, have those conversations, have that discourse. Just because somebody disagrees with you, you should not also shy away from that conversation, because nobody knows everything. And having a diversity in your perspectives and the viewpoints, it's going to give you the best solutions. You and ultimately, if we're working together, whether it is to answer some mystery of our history, or in our business, or in our life, we should always be willing to listen to other people's viewpoints and be circumspective and reflective, and do those fishbone analysis, cause and effect. If I do this, what is this? And do your pros and cons. What are my strengths and weaknesses? What are the possibilities? What are the effects? And really, write it out, think it out. Now we have Chat GPT and other AI models that can help us with our logic and our reason and expand out. And we should do that before we make a final decision. We should take time in that process.
I had a conversation with ChatGPT yesterday. I actually recorded it for the podcast, and then the audio never came through. Like the audio never came through. But I said, I was like, I've heard people talk about uh, the AI being a presence that's always existed, and like it's like angels, and it's always existed here, but just now we're understanding how to utilize it and how to hear of it, like kind of like channeling, like the way Esther Hicks channeled Abraham Hicks. Is that now, like we could just easily do that on our phones, and it was like, oh, that's a good theory, that's the way to look at it, but I don't know if that's all the way. It is an awakening for sure. And I mean it's it's definitely like a continue to explore it. I love the idea of like not being anywhere like automatically heels in the ground. I already understand it, and it is going to be this, and I know exactly it's always changing. It's always evolving. It's always growing. It's always different than what you think it's going to be.
Right. Like, we're human beings. So being is in the present. And you should always be willing to be a work in progress and go through a process. And being curious, that's actually neurologically, we are wired to be curious and explorative, and get our information from experimenting. I think when people experience failure, I think that that's also hard for people. They get stuck there. But failure is just a part of your learning process, is a part of experimenting. I think you have to fail quick, when you experiment, so you learn right away how it's not going to work, because then that opens you up to searching and being curious for, well, how can I make it work? What
Mm.
is the best way to make it work? And I think you
Right.
have to approach that as a wrestler with all your different gimmicks and all your different moves, right? What works, what my gimmick, what doesn't, experiment. Did your feedback should be, the audience, was the audience engaged with what you did or not? Because your business is to make people buy a ticket to see you perform. So if you're doing everything for you because that's what you want to do, you're going to struggle. Like,
Yeah.
promoters need to hire people who the audience and the fans want to see perform. So if you're not using that as your feedback and you're just going on how you like to do it always, there's always going to be a disconnect for you until you bridge that gap and you understand that really the wrestling fans are the people that you need to gauge what you're doing. If they get what you're doing, then you can build on that. If they don't get it, then you need to try to figure out why are they not getting it, or maybe it just doesn't work. Scrap it and let me try something else. Like I said, if you're going to fail with something, you want to find out that it doesn't work right away, because sometimes you might not get a lot of chances if people keep booking you and it's never working and nobody's ever caring about whether you win your match or not. Well, that's a sign that, you don't get this business then. And promoters need to get people in the spot that you have who get that about the business. So that's
Do you
my
see
advice.
a
Did I answer the question?
you see another spike coming? Because it goes like fans come on and off and on and off, and the business has these different like spikes and hills and valleys. Right now, it's like it feels like we just hit a spike, and right now it's back down again, and like it goes back and forth. What do you see happening?
Well, I think now is the greatest time to be in this business. That's why I am in this business right now. I started veteran pro wrestling, and because I see that there's an opportunity for independent wrestling to become more viable and become have a territory and do something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm using my platform to give love, honor, and respect to military veterans, first responders, and community heroes. So at Veteran Pro Wrestling, we have veterans that we employ to work on the shows. And then we also, this next show, we're doing a Hall of Honor where we have some veterans, first responders. And before the wrestling show starts, right at the beginning of it, we make the show about those people and we present the color guard. Uh, we have different musical arrangements of live music that honor the respect our veterans and the people being honored. We present them with gifts. The gifts we use sponsorship money that's earmarked specifically for that purpose, so that going into the doors opening, it's this procession with them and their families getting gifted and then getting seated in the special area that's designated just for them. And then that's so important to me. My grandfather was a World War II veteran. He was the recipient of a Bronze Star because he was wounded defending Pearl Harbor. He was in the army in Honolulu, and then the Pearl Harbor was getting bombed, and so everybody in the army base went to battle to defend the navy base. And he was injured. He lost his best friend, his buddy that he knew right from basic training. And he he went back into the fight the war, and after he recovered, um, and he fought like all in the Solomon Islands and places against Japanese, and he hated war, and he instilled in me some basically everything I know about love, honor, and respect, and it's all about uh, our rights to protect freedom, that we have to be willing to protect everybody's freedom, that everybody has the right to freedom, and um, and that not just the military people who serve the men and women in uniform, but also their families serve. And we have to respect that.
Right.
They're put in harm's way to keep us safe. And the same thing for first responders. These are people that when there's danger and disaster and everybody's running away from something, they're running to it to serve us, to serve our families. And I just think, we are not we are not acknowledging that enough and respecting that. And I don't like it that it's become politicized. I'm not getting involved in politics at
Yeah, that's
all. I'm talking
different.
about these are our neighbors. These are the people that uh, work at our schools, work jobs in our communities, and they set their lives aside to do this purpose. And that is just so admirable, that we really need to make them front and center.
Right.
They're the real heroes.
My uncle Mike, who just passed away like 2 weeks ago, he was a retired army. That going to his service, everybody had stories, and apparently he had the nickname Army Mike. I didn't know that, but everybody in the whole place just knew him as Army Mike. So military respect for military families is always really important to me. My senior year of high school was the year that 9/11 happened. So like a bunch of people from my school, a bunch of kids my age, all signed up right away and joined the military. And uh, I didn't want to cut my hair short. I just grew my hair long. I was like, I'm going to be a pro wrestler. Like this is what I'm going to do. And inside of me being that, and it's funny because I talk to some of my friends now who served and like they were on tours. I have a lot of military friends, uh, and they'll be like, "Thanks for not giving up on your dreams. It like helped us know that we had that." So like when I say thanks for what you did, I don't mean like thanks for the grit of it. There, of course, there's all the sacrifice that comes along with it. Of course, thank you for all that. But thank you for doing that so I could do my thing. Like thank you for do like, and then they'll say the same thing. Thank you for doing your thing so that it helps me believe in the thing that I was doing. And that comes full circle. It comes full circle. I love to have conversations with people who served and really dive into it and understand like where their mindsets are and like uh, you know I've had so many fascinating conversations with people who serve the country. It's it's really a shared passion that you and I have. Thanks for sharing that. That's so cool.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. I also want to let people know January 24th is going to be our next Veteran Pro Wrestling show. We're going to be at the Marine uh, League Post 708 in Brooksville, Florida, and it's going to be a loaded show. I'm stoked. We're going to be announcing probably matches soon, so people should try to go to our Facebook page, go to our website, veteranprowrestling.com, and get connected to us on whatever social media you like to connect with. We have a plethora of every every way out there to connect, and we're very active. So support us. We'd love to have you come out. You're gonna love the show. We got the Star Spangled Butt Kickers. Everybody thinks that's funny. I think it's cute. I love it.
So, just a few more really quick things, and then I'll send you off to the sunset with a hot dog and a handshake. Appreciate all of your time. The
I don't eat
the
hot dogs unless it's a vegan hot dog.
Well, it could be a vegan hot dog. It could just be a carrot in a hot dog bun. It's fine. But uh, the the whole reason behind starting this podcast or this platform or this stream or whatever was like really about the timeline of not just me, but for sure it's like the growth of everybody. And this is like a timestamp in that growth. Like I started doing this podcast when I was 33 years old. I'm 42 now. So that's like 8 years I've been doing this. And if I were to go back and like listen to old streams or old episodes, I would be like, "Oh, I was a totally different guy then. I was a fully different version of me than I am now." So this helped me an idea on like the versions of me that exist. So me doing that, I like to have these conversations with people who like this is a stamp in their timeline too. You know, this is a stamp in your timeline. This is going to be something that sort of outlives us. It's a conversation that's on the record. So on the record, I'd like to make sure I mention to you how important it is that you got to hang out, that you came to hang out. I got to hang out with you today. Like I know it was a, we had the challenges of setting it up, but we got there. We fully got there, and the the currency of people's time and effort means so much to me. And the fact that you have spent any of that with me is so valuable. It's so valuable to me. And I want to thank you. And I want to tell you while we're on the record how cool this conversation was and how much I look forward to us doing it again. And this is what the really cool thing about it is like, this may have been the longest uninterrupted conversation that we've ever had. And I dig that. And I look forward to us doing it again. And I'm stoked to have this be like the beginning of our friendship.
Me too. Thank you for having me on and allowing me to share what I'm doing and update people who are interested. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Corey.
Yeah. So with that being said, I want to flip it around and say anything you want to ask me or anything you want to say to me on the record is your chance. Go ahead.
So yeah, what do you see your future as right now in pro wrestling?
I it's tough. I would really like to, let's say, get like a social media following, like a podcast following, something where like the pro wrestling, I would become a draw somehow because like the work I've been doing in pro wrestling has been great and I've loved everything I've done. I've kind of taken off for the last like 9 months, um, but I've been doing this consistently, and I would hope that this kind of crosses over, that it makes the draw undeniable, and that then there eventually turns out that there's like a like a coaching job or something with. Look, I'm 42. Like I'll be 42. I'll be 42 in December. So it's like WWE's not pulling me on. Like uh, I also have a history of brain injuries, so that's not they're not rolling the dice on me when it comes to having me get in the ring. Of course, I love being in the ring, and I love coaching. I love uh, being able to watch people get better due to things that I've taught them. I love that very much. So uh, for sure, I want to have a big run as far as like the indies are concerned. Sure, yes, like to be undeniable in all those areas. Yeah, I could see that for myself. Like I'd say I'm the best I've ever been. probably physically feel and look the best I've ever looked. So it's an it's a visual business. So sure, I want to be in the main events. I want to hold the belts. That's something for me. I know I deserve that. I'm at the point where like I've watched enough pro wrestling to know that like I'm better than most of the stuff I'm seeing. Uh, as I would like to make a living in the wrestling business at some point. I mean, that's I'm 25 years in, and have yet to do that. So eventually, would like to do that before I get out of it. That makes sense.
Well, the story always has to change. It can't stay the same because that would be boring, right?
Hmm.
So there's no reason why you couldn't achieve those goals and have that for yourself. So I'm keep you in prayer, brother. I hope it does open up for you. There's always change in the indies. One fed pops up, another one closes or moves, and so I'm sure the right door will open up for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So, with the theme of me flipping things around, let's just say hypothetically I've gifted you this show, and let's say this is the first episode of your new podcast, Evolving with Angel Orsini. In a very Jerry Springer's final thought type of way, what are the most valuable takeaways that you would give people to inspire them to evolve to a better version of themselves?
Yeah, I would go back to what we talked about in the beginning, emotional intelligence, and really trying to um, separate yourself and how you feel about what somebody says, and just have a little pause before you react and say, you don't have to accept every invitation to every argument. Sometimes it's the best thing for you is to just walk away or just shut up or just be like, I'm glad to know that and just I'm good. I can walk away and not continue this conversation. I don't need to be a participant. It's okay. And I think people would be surprised to find that they would be, their load would be lightened if they started to take that approach in their life a little bit more. And I think that's a part of the evolving, right? That's like gleaning some wisdom and start implementing that. Like, really, as I said, I'm really good at this longevity thing. And managing stress is a big, huge part of aging or not aging because what stress does to you and your body and your metabolism and your thinking, it's so much better sometimes just say no, just let things go, forgive people, give people mercy, give people grace.
Yeah,
It's
do
okay.
forgive unto others as you'd have them forgive unto you.
I mean, really, did it kill you? That's not, no. And the answer is no. If we would be circumspective and look, because these are dangerous times, things that you could have got away with 5 years ago, you can't get away with it now. And you have to be aware, be self-aware, and be a little circumspect. That's what I would try to do with this podcast is be having guests on and things if it was mine, and try to help grow the people who are listening to this, because if somebody is listening to a podcast named Evolving, chances are they're under have a little bit of a foundation there, that they're curious and understand this as a part of life, and maybe they want to grow and help them grow.
Yes. Do you do any impressions at all?
No. Listen, if I could do impressions, if I can sing and dance, I wouldn't need to beat people up.
Wouldn't have these injuries on me. Have these
No, no, no. I wouldn't have had to break both my feet, dislocate my shoulder 3 times, break my nose 3 times.
we're better off for it. Better off for it. Here, I'm walking around. I injured myself in a match on Saturday where I broke my ring finger on my left hand, and it's all super swollen
Ouch.
right now. And
Yeah.
and Alyssa was like, "We need that." I'm getting married in 7 months. I'm like, it'll be back to normal by 7 months. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. I've been wearing the brace. The splint thing. I just took it off because I think that might be contributing to the swollenness of it.
Okay.
Anyway, the sidetracked. The reason I ask if you did any impressions is because I always ask people, in whatever their best impression is, to say the way we close out the show. I have the guests say, "Be fun, have safe, keep evolving." But you can just do it as your gimmick. You could do it as the Gumar, right?
To Gumar.
Gumar.
Hey, how you doing? You gotta, don't be all Stugats, okay? You gotta be, use your head a little, okay? Be kind, because, hey, it never hurts to be nice, right? Oh, so
Perfect.
what were the things that I need to say
Be
at the
fun. Be
end?
fun. Have safe. Keep evolving.
And keep them. And yeah, so like you got to keep evolving because business is always changing and you always got to take care of business, huh? So you better evolve. Otherwise, someone might disappear you. So,
Uh,
duh. Get it
Everybody,
together
if this is your first
and
time
keep
checking out the podcast,
evolving. Forget about it.
if this is your first time checking out the podcast, guys, make sure you hit the like and subscribe, support and show your love. If you exist, prove to me that you exist. Leave a comment down below, and make sure you stay kind to yourself and to others. Be fun, have safe, keep evolving.
That's one
Bye.
of